Put in a word, dead on arrival, be getting it in. Put in a word, we the team that be getting it done. We bring you the history, the factual, deep studying, you get the results. Put in a word, we do origins, we digging it in. We bring you the meaning.
Even scientifically solid to the extreme.
Put in a word, dead on arrival, we getting it in. We got the scripts, all the tools to decipher the truth. Put in a word, dead on arrival, be real with that quality, all sources, certified solid. Put in a word.
God in the work, it's the DOA hit squad, let's get it.
Shalom, 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 brother smashed in the idol.
Yeah.
All right. This is another one of those days where, we gotta bring some, I guess, some knowledge to the public. Literally make a couple of disclaimers that tonight's show is basically going to be about, clearing up some things and, show some things, whatnot. And this is one of the first times you hosting with me, so I'm gonna let you have it for a few, introduce yourself while I take care of some things in the background. All right, do your
Yeah.
thing.
Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before we start this off, we got to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh and Yahweh only. Yah, by saying Kal Yada, Wa Kabawa, Wa Hawa, La Yahweh, Wa Yahweh, Yah, Akkad, Aidawalam Allah. You know what I mean? All praises and honor and glory to the Most High and Him alone forever. Hey, it's Smash United DOA. Look, tonight's topic, to be honest, it might be a little touchy, but for the most part, only the real ones gonna listen and understand the voice of reasoning. You know what I mean? When it comes to the voice of the reasoning, it's dead on arrival anyway. You know what I mean? You can't really do nothing about it. You know what I mean? So go ahead and take it over, Akin. I'm gonna get this scripture. I want to get the scripture about reasoning.
Well, if you want to do that, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Definitely, this is like gonna be one of those nights we can do more scriptures than normal. But like I said, I'm gonna put something up, that pertains to this situation. Like I was telling you in the background. Parrot versus dog, and obviously you see how this situation is with this these different tongues is kind of getting out of hand. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really the one to really want to be in depth on it to take one person's side over the other, because to me that's like, vanity in reality what they're doing about it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a good thing that it's been brought to their attention, but there's a lot of things that they're missing. You get what I'm saying? And it's
Mhm.
and it's kind of like I'm seeing going around, especially like social media, and I'm seeing it's like the topic is trending and it's getting out of hand. You know what I mean? It's getting out of hand. You know.
Con.
But my thing is you can see the last time we was on, you know, people's taking some of my statements that came out of my mouth, right, and they're spreading it. I think more on the negative side, like and I need to like actually express, my side of things, literally. But let me get my slide up there, and I'll start it from there. But yeah, get your scriptures out, because at the end of this, you're gonna be able to, fire up that funk. All right, let me see something here. I know that's your wife, but let me say, Sister Yara Sharon, Shalom family. Halawa Khan. All right, Shalom, Shalom. Let me get my
Hey,
slide up.
Isaiah 1 and 18.
Hmm.
Come now, let us reason together, says Yah. Though your sins are scarlet, as they be as white as snow, though they are red as crimson, they shall become war. The whole thing is let's reason together. It shouldn't be no reason why a person can't reason.
Hmm. Exactly. Exactly. You do this temporary turn this comment. So as you can see, I got this little presentation. It's a simple one. It's not like deep like I normally do, but it's got some key gems and good points on here. All right. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. These are the things like literally I think that are very important, that pertain to the Hebraic walk, the Hebraic thought, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of puts you closer, as you can get to the most high as a person needs to be, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of times people are concentrating on, like I said, more stuff that's more on the vanity side, like what I look like, what you look like, you know what I'm saying? Let's look like Hebrews. Let's look like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
That's not it. That's not it. You know what I'm saying? And then you got like, especially with these language, I call them language busters. They're trying to push it like you have to be able to read and speak fluent Hebrew in order to basically deal with the Most High. I mean, like that makes you a better Hebrew or something. I mean, yes,
Hey,
good and all that, but it's not like to me important. It's not as important like knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. But no, you guys say something.
there's nowhere in the scriptures where it say you gotta learn a language
Hmm.
to get to him. It,
That's right.
but for some reason, people like to go to Zephaniah 3
Hmm.
to try to say that it's going to be something new when they post a hold to Daniel when they say knowledge will increase,
Hmm.
and people ain't even understanding. Majority of the people now that are, well, there's a lot of us that are now quote unquote black people, Negroes that are learning Hebrew. It don't matter what
Hmm.
Hebrew, they're learning a Hebrew, so knowledge is increasing. And with that knowledge, we're having other apps and everything that's able to give us clear understanding and direct understanding of the English interpretation of their, you know,
Absolutely.
Bible.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, that's why at the end of tonight, I'm going to demonstrate some of that. You know what I'm saying? And it's a good thing that you're here, specifically because, you know what I'm saying, you would be probably more fluid to the actual languages than I am. And I'm not saying it like I'm trying to tell people that you should don't learn the language, you know what I'm saying, just be dumbed down. No, I'm far from dumbed down on it. I just choose not to speak it because to me, I don't think I sound right. I choose not to read it because my handwriting is not like, like certain people's. That's the only reason why. But that ain't saying that, oh, I don't utilize the Hebrew tools, between English and Hebraic. Because I never said that. I just said I don't need to learn the language, meaning so that I can speak it or read it. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
All right. Anyway, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The highest level of what one can achieve and should goal themselves to reach. All right. And this does not apply to religion, but instead life itself. Like just life in general. You know what I'm saying? You should try to advance yourself, gain as much knowledge as you can gain, right? Gain as much wisdom as you can gain and understand it. But it just so happens to be that these are also important key traits that, we all deal with the most high, or we should be trying to reach that peak with the most high, literally, right? These three are some of the greatest gifts from the most high. Period. You get what I'm saying? These are gifts. You know what I'm saying? And if he gives you these type of gifts, you know what? Sit there and try to utilize these as gifts. You know what I'm saying? And I probably won't ask for more. Okay. All right. Of course, longevity is a present package too. Like living long. That's all good. We don't want to live short lived. We want to have longevity. Just as long as we can live and coexist and keep our direct relationship with like the most high, the Almighty. That should be our ultimate peak, of course. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna really kind of question that. Right? Like I'm saying, tonight's gonna be a little short and sweet discussions. All right, we're gonna talk about some important things that draws us rather to a clearer path or trail back, to the Most High, because that's the thing we need to be trying to push. That's the thing that we should be all on the same page trying to do, trying to make us roll, you know, get us back on with the Most High. You know what I'm saying? I mean, is that hard to think about? You know what I'm saying? And eventually, hopefully, most of us going to get there. And I wish it could be all of us. You get what I'm saying? But obviously, we're going to have like obstacles and all these things in the road. But wherever you're coming from, when I'm saying getting back with the Most High, I'm not saying come from it like in an actual physical road or physical path. I'm being really metaphorical, like whatever you have to do to get yourself, on the right path to the Most High. All right.
Yeah. Can I
Yeah.
can I say something real fast?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say, like you said earlier. Well, basically, you said something that made me think about the word remnant. And a lot of people might think like the remnant has to speak a certain language. You know what I mean? But we got to realize this, even with the English language itself, right? The Bible, quote unquote, is not in English everywhere around the world,
Right. Right.
but they can read it.
Mm-hmm.
And if some people read it throughout the world that's not in America, that's not in these lands that got English, and they
Mm-hmm.
read the contradictions and they read the truth,
Mm-hmm.
yet they don't have the meaning, or they don't have the Lashon Kodesh or the Lashawan Kodash,
Mm-hmm.
either or. If they are doing what Yahweh said, what the Most High said, whatever the name is, I don't know. I'm not trying to make a barrier on that, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. If they don't know that, but their heart is intense, you know what I mean? The intention of their heart is coming back to the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
Then I don't see how anybody can, try to say they can't. They can't come back to the Most High. That's almost like being a smoke to the Most High's nose. What is that in
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah when he said, when people be like, "Don't come not near me. I'm holier than thou."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You try to make it seem like because of your knowledge that you have, you know what I mean, that you hold some special seat in
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh's house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a perfect point. Like a lot of that, when people do ride on that side, and I guess they pat themselves on the back, that's another sign of vanity too. Vanity. When a person they got a lot of vanity going on, they also got a lot of pride going on too. You know, we know what happens with pride, right? You know what happens with when you start thinking you bigger and better. You know what ends up happening. All right. Well, let me go to the next slide. All right. I'm gonna talk about what is knowledge, and I'm basically going off of like some good sources here. The Oxford Language Dictionary, literally. And it's basically in English. I could use the Oxford Dictionary and give the same thing if I was talking about what is knowledge in Spanish or whatever, whatever. But I'm doing it from the English point of view at this point, and it just pretty much, literally, nobody can argue that this is not what it means. All right, knowledge is facts, information, and skills acquired by a person through experience or education. You see that word there? Experience or education. See, a lot of them they figure, well, they got the degrees, or like I got 1400 years of studies and this and that. So I'm I think I'm up there. I'm peak, to the point where I know more than this guy, or I know more than that guy. Well, that's the educational side. That's great. But what about those that, got the experience too? You get what I'm saying? That's a form of knowledge. And then you got the theoretical or practical understanding of a subject. And I always try to say, you need to be able to understand. All right. You have to be able to understand. And I think you were saying if you want to, yes, you can certainly stream on your channel. This is like, if you want to do that, I know you just put that on the chat. Yes, you're going to stream it to your channel. I have no problem with that. All right. Two, awareness and familiarity. All right. Gained by experience of a fact or a situation. That's what knowledge is. You get what I'm saying? That's what knowledge is. And you're going to see later on what I mean by, I made that statement that instead of, all right, me learning to speak what you call fluent and all of that, that type of tongue, far as it goes, I'm more, you know, leaning more on I want to be able to know what's going on. Like you'll see that when we talk about scriptures, you know what I'm saying? Just the knowledge. You have to have understanding, comprehension, grasp, grip, command is all similarities to the same meaning. You know what I'm saying? Awareness, consciousness, realization, recognition, cognate to some certain things, or that all makes up your knowledge, not just feature it in one path of things. Because think about it, you could be, as we can use the Hebrew thing, you can be fluent in Hebrew all you want to, but that doesn't mean that you can comprehend it. That doesn't mean that you actually understand. What I'm saying, what you saying. I mean, it obviously, if you put time in there, I'm sure you are going to, apply the same thing that you apply as you speaking in English, right? You had to learn vocalization, you had to learn grammar, you get what I'm saying? You had to learn, like, especially vocabulary. You had to learn what certain things mean, right? So ain't nothing wrong with that. Am I correct?
Mm.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right. I don't know what happened on the screen, but let me go to the next part. Yeah. And you can cut me off anytime if you want to too. If
Oh
you
no,
feel like
I'm
include something.
I'm tapped in.
All right. I'm gonna go to the next slide. All right. All right. The thing here that is, I'm saying this is good meat and fruit is I'm speaking this, so the more we expose ourselves to certain things, it don't necessarily have to always be, like I say, just because we're all together, right? We can expose ourselves to learn more about those that's scattered farther than we are. You get what I'm saying? Reach out and touch them and get some type of contact with them because they have certain things going on that we can learn from too, right? It's not hard. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Knowledge
sir.
sources is important. Like the more sources that you can come up with is only going to make you much more, knowledgeable of what your heritage, this culture is to begin with, right? Not just
Yeah.
only just a language. You know what I'm saying?
Now, now let's get something straight. When I say sources, he not talking about going to different literatures of books that come and try to tell you about how to worship the Most High and all of that. He not talking
Absolutely.
about that. He's
Absolutely
talking
not.
about things that can help you mentally, like scripts. I'm talking
Hmm.
about, like, when I say scripts, I'm talking about quote unquote lettering scripts,
Hmm.
or knowledge on like even for that part, since that's where we're on, when we talk about the language itself, right?
Hmm.
We got to understand that the script itself, that everyone that really people don't want to acknowledge as it being the ancient script, that script was all over. It wasn't just for the Israelites. It was
Hmm.
all over. Just like we see English all over the world right now, it was just a predominant symbol and signs, those signs and script symbols at that time. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And if people will understand that, they will understand that just like people in like French people, they can speak English, but they sound different speaking it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I'm not
Hmm.
saying I'm not making that an excuse for people to, you know, go outside of what is recommended, what I recommend, but it doesn't matter what I recommend. That's why I'm not pushing what I recommend. But I'm saying for you bangers, you know what I mean? You name bangers, you letter bangers, you diss bangers,
Hmm.
but you language bangers, but you really don't know what you're talking about because a lot of times I can hear people speaking modern Hebrew and I can hear the
Hmm.
dialect change from the Canaanite.
Exactly. Exactly. You want 100% correct. 100% correct.
But
That's
but
why, that's why, me with that saying that, I'm saying that that's why I kind of step my side away from taking anybody's like side with this because I'm telling you, when you out there with your ears and you listen and you hearing this from this guy, you hearing that from that guy, this group, that group. I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. They're all literally saying the same thing, but from their point of views. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
I,
So how can I like literally be like on one side when it comes down to like learning certain things when it comes to this walk, this culture, it's not gonna be something that you can learn overnight anyway. You get what I'm
yep.
saying?
And
That's what I have a problem with.
that's why I feel like it's kind of important for people that's just now coming in or even wherever you're at, don't always set yourself on one mode and try to and think like this is it
Hmm.
because there's always growth. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's always gonna be growth. It's I'm gonna say it again. It's always gonna be growth. Even the slightest thing, you can stay on one lane, right, and still start to learn different things on that one lane. Like we was
Hmm.
talking about before the live, and once we, like I said earlier, on the last live that you was on, the shalom thing. People say shalom, but they don't understand that's not how you greet a person. That's how you would end greet. You know what I
That's
mean?
right. Hmm.
Shalom would be the correct way. But they don't know that because our people don't study. They just hear what people say
Hmm.
and then they go along with it and that becomes a language like Lashan Kodash or Ha Shekwan, however they say it in modern Hebrew.
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. What is wisdom, and why should we seek to gain it? We all know what wisdom is. We really all know, but we got to look at it from all different perspectives. You know what I'm saying? We all know wisdom is something that came even before the world existed, and that's according to Scripture, right? Because we all should know that. You know, at least us Torah onlys, we know that, all right? And it's a type of logical teachings. You know what I'm saying? Even outside of the biblical narrative. Let me read something what AI said. And usually I don't like to use AI because AI don't necessarily be agreeable to certain things that we normally don't, you know, discuss. All right, it says wisdom is the ability to use knowledge, experience and insight to make sound judgments, understand life's complexities and act ethically and for the common good, going beyond more intelligence to evolve deep understanding, reflection, and the balanced application of what is the real life situation. You agree with that? All right.
100%. Hey, is there?
Mm-hmm. Let me pause for just a second. I gotta change my microphone, adjust something real quick. We'll just take over for about 2 minutes.
All right, let me blow this up so I can read this. I'm gonna read this over. It say wisdom is the ability to use knowledge, experience, and insight and make sound judgments, understand life's complexities, and act ethically for the common good, going beyond mere intelligence to involve deep understanding, reflections, and the balanced application of what you know in real life situations. So, okay. Kilo, that was me, bro. Chill out. Chill out, bro. Let me get this scripture on partiality real quick. Give me a couple seconds. All right. So, okay. It's okay. We're looking at Proverbs 28 and 21. To show partiality is not good, but for a piece of bread a man would do wrong, right? So, when we look at, let's read this again. Wisdom is the ability to use knowledge, experience, and insight to make sound judgments, understand life's complexities, and act ethically for the common good, going beyond mere intelligence to involve deep understanding, reflection, and the balanced application of what you know in real life. This is the thing. Real wisdom will show you how to not be partial, okay? And these things right here, like for instance, insight to make, it says, an insight to make sound judgments. If you're going to say that you love your people, but you don't want to deal with them because they speak this and you speak that, then that's being partial, bruh. And with that being partial, you cannot, like, I'm not listening to nobody. I'm not listening to you if you can't even, if my banner says Yahweh's portion and you can't even say it because you think sooner or later somebody got to say something about that, but you the one teaching, I can't deal with you. You don't have any wisdom. You don't have the ability to act ethically. Like that said, where is that? Understand life's complexity. Yeah, and ethically to the common, for the common good. You know what I mean? What is that again? Proverbs 28 and 21. So now, until the elder get back, that made me want to go to also Deuteronomy 16 and 19. It says, you should not pervert justice. Hold on, wait. I want to go to, let me go to the New Living Translation. Hold on.
You're doing good.
Okay,
Keep doing that. I'm trying to take care of something in the background. So
no, you good.
keep
You
going. Keep
good.
going.
Yeah, no, you good. You good. I'm good. I cook. It say Deuteronomy 16:19. It say you must never twist justice or show partiality. Never accept a bribe, for bribes blind the eyes of the wise. So hold on, wait, and corrupt the decisions of the godly. So what does it do? You never accept a bribe, for bribes blind the eye of the wise. So if somebody can go and uh tell you all praises, honor, glory, all of that, right? And then have a cash app flowing at the top, at the bottom of the thing, you know what I mean? The bottom of the screen, bruh, you're not wise at all. And you accepting them, well, first of all, you are the bride. You know what I mean? Because your, according to your wisdom, you would say, this brother, he speaks, he says Yahweh Akkad, he says Shalom. It got to be the right language, but your partiality right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
your twisting of justice and judgment, it makes you, it sinks into that. And then guess what? This the crazier part. I've seen so many people do this type of stuff. They start to follow people that say a certain name, speak one side or the other, and then before you know it, they've had enough of the fuckery. I mean, well, excuse my language. They've had enough of the foolery of what they've been seeing, and they say, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm done. All these bug outs that call on Yahweh, they all the same. All these people that call on Yahweh, they all the same. All these people that call on Yah, YHWH, I don't know how that is, but whatever. You know what I mean? They all the same. No, that's not that. Sister Yasharon put Proverbs 2:6. For Yahweh gives wisdom, from his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. Yahweh gives wisdom. So I heard some weird ass dude, weird ass dude. He got on, he made a short that was on a rant talking about how the most high accept rape or
I think I seen that today.
bruh, like nigga, you trying to make it seem, I mean, excuse me, but you trying to make it seem like Israelites is out here ravaging or gonna be out here ravaging. You trying to put that on our name. You know what I mean? But he says, Yahweh Akkad, he don't know shit. He don't know nothing else about the language anyway. Disclaimer, you know what I mean? But he's saying that much. A person that call on Ahaya could easily be like, all you bug outs that call on Yahweh, all of y'all like this. So how much more would it be for these people, you know what I mean, that in these camps, they thoroughly teach the language, you know what I mean? And then you might have a sister or a brother or whatever that come up out of there. They done learned the language, but now they knowing that it's the most high alone, and they trying to come up out of there. And as they coming up out of there, they leading the language, and then here they go. Here we go, Mike. Some Eliyahu or whoever, you know what I mean? Come all these what one west. This is what they do. This it's the language is witchcraft. You a stupid fucking dummy. All right, I'm done. All right, you good?
No, keep it going. Keep it going. You're doing good. So I want you. I want you to do it. But let me take the help
Are
sometime.
you probably? I don't know. If you just said something, your mic muffled.
No, I'm saying you're doing good. I'm saying this is what I like. You're taking the helm. I like you taking the helm like this. I'm actually listening and sitting back and listening to you. You're doing good. Keep it going.
I
Keep it
know I'm in
going.
the cut. I'm in the cut. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't trying to plead a cause. You know what I
Mm,
mean? It is
no,
what it
no,
is.
no. You're doing good. Keep it going. Keep it going. I actually like what I'm hearing. Keep it going.
Who is this? I'm new to the channel. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Hey,
shalom,
peace.
brother. Shalom.
Peace, mate. Mason Cancer. Peace, man. You know what I mean? It's me and the elder right now. You know what I mean? Tag your latest friend. Let them know, you know what I mean? We breaking doctrine around, you know what I mean? But at the same time, we gonna keep it cordial and well shit, don't yeah, we gonna keep it cordial, you know what I mean? And this this channel on Smash and Idol, DOA or DOA. I don't know which way it's coming, but we don't do no idol worshiping, you know what I mean? We don't do no click banging. You know what I'm saying? This is not a camp. This is none of that. You know what I mean? So think about the questions or whatever you know what I mean you got before. So anyway, where was I? I was at the Deuteronomy 16, talking about talking about partiality, and I'm talking about partiality because we have to get to the ground of understanding you people, you Israelites, you are in captivity. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not taking up for this this guy that y'all claim made a language, right? I'm not I'm not taking up for him or anything, but I am gonna say I do want to say this, right? Okay, so he decided to do something that sound more proficient for us. Cause I ain't gonna cap. I believe a lot of the, well, I would say like millennial or whatever generation, we don't have that you know what I mean, that um we don't have that generation from before really in us. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So like even when I listen to like people that are like 48, 50 years old, they sound like they like 30 something. You know what I mean? They still using slang. They still doing this. And then you hear us, you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, I just would agree to, I would not even agree to disagree. I would, yeah, I guess I would agree to disagree that, you know, there, the language is not made up. It's not made up. And even though, and I would say even more, the proof that it's not made up because our people don't like our people.
Yep.
So there's no possible way that one person would even agree to that language if it wasn't real. There's not one, you're not telling me the people that lost everything are going to make up something and it actually can be, bruh, you can pull it up you could pull it up in the internet and it'll tell you, bruh, it'll tell you how to speak it'll tell you these symbols at this time didn't have these vowels, so it'll sound like this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you said that like pretty much the other day. You put that to my attention. Yep.
Yeah, so I feel like it's like a big ass distraction, you know what I mean? And I would I would ask the brethren and the sisters, the ox and the aqua, I would ask them to, yes, study. You know what I mean? And as you study, skip it, bruh. I mean, what do you got to lose? Study both.
That's
And
right.
as you study both, you're able to read the modern script, quote unquote, and you'll be able to read it in your in but in your you'll be able to read it in the pronunciation, you know what I mean, of your choice. But you got to learn both of them in order for you to understand that they're really not that different, bro.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. 1000%.
I'm not saying one, I'm not saying both of those dialects are ours. I'm just saying they're not that different, and you gotta, you know what I'm saying, you gotta deal with what you got, bro. You gotta use what you got.
Yep, yep. And when you're in a situation where we're not where we need to be at, you got to consider what you think works and makes it better for us. To having choices and more choices of places to, to go to find out this and that with our own, tongue is a good thing. It's not a bad thing,
Con,
as long as it doesn't, like I said, my problem with a lot of it is when you have like one individual person that comes along and he's saying it like this is the soul such and such, the source of it, and you have to learn it, and then which is basically saying learn it from their perspective, and then what you gaining with that is also what they're also teaching as their narrative too. That's what my problem is. You know what I mean?
I
That's
mean,
what
but
my problem is.
once again, that comes back to just pride, bro. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Sister Yasharon says so-called Canaanite language isn't made up. Maybe because they use word semantics instead of simply understanding. That's why they think it's made up. I mean, and I'm gonna say I think it
Well,
come
a person would have to look like think about it. They were so closely related to the point where they would be able to communicate, with one another. So that would make sense that it would be, what I'm saying, literally not made up. If it's, what I'm saying, if it's using some of the same, I guess, letterings and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's how could it be made up? It doesn't make sense. Can't be.
right. It can't be made up just for the fact. To be honest with you, you can if you find like a Philistine, not a Philistine, not a
Oh.
Palestine,
Mhm. Mhm.
with a what is them people? Philippines? Yeah, Philippine. A Philippine. If you find Philippine people and you listen to their channels, they literally speak. I heard a Philippine person with a song called Yahweh Kodash.
Mm.
Now, granted, they don't have the same script, but they speak the language. So now what?
You're right. You're right. You got to remember because they're really closely related. Anytime, like you, especially when you're listening to like words that are transliterated, sometimes they are similarly like the same, like with between different languages too. That's a hint there. You get what I'm saying? That's
Yeah,
a hint there. I mean, obviously, the dynamics of Hebrew going to English is going to be like almost totally two sides of the realm. But when you transliterate it, you know, you have to do what you call make up for the difference of the certain, I guess, vocabularies that is different. But you can hear certain things that what I'm saying. Like somebody say Jerusalem, another person say Jerusalem. That's the same thing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's nothing different. But when you say like the Canaanite and ancient Hebrew, they were so closely related. That is how you not gonna be. You know what I'm saying?
I think the major problem that we have is instead of trying to teach, you know what I mean, and try to get people to understand, like, yeah, this, hey, this, and this. They don't. We don't do that. We just be like, no, you wrong. This and this. It's this. You ain't trying to say it like this. Then fuck you. You know what I mean? Type shit.
Hmm.
And I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I'm not ready for that. I mean, I'm not ready to, you know what I mean, jump out there on the language thing. But I can understand it. I can for the most part, you know what I mean, I can read it. I'm learning more. I'm not, I'm fluent, you know what I'm saying, but I don't also but also I want to say something too. Can I actually make a suggestion to people?
Hmm. Go ahead.
I got
Go
a
ahead.
question, bro. The scriptures told us to seek out the book of Yahweh and read, and it also tells us to All right. So the scriptures, it clearly tells us to make sure that we seek out the book of Yahweh and read. With that book that we're seeking out of, what are you seeking out of it? Are you
Right.
seeking knowledge?
Hmm.
Are you seeking to, what I mean, debate people? I don't know what you're seeking, but
Well, they should not be seeking it for debating. That brings on the other thing. We already done said knowledge. We already done said wisdom. The only other thing that's left should be understanding, or basically you know comprehending what the whole context of the book is about. You know what I'm saying?
right. But where I was trying to get at is in this whole thing of you seeking the scriptures, you have to seek a language. You have to to be honest with you, you should not be seeking, you should never have seen neither language, to be totally honest, if you really trying to figure this out. You know what I mean? And on the event that you're doing this, just because you can speak, hi, how are you doing? What did you do today? In whatever Hebrew, that doesn't mean anything because that's not what you're supposed to be doing. To be totally honest, I believe that we're supposed to be learning the Torah
Absolutely.
in the language, whatever language. I don't, at this, like I said, I've said this plenty of times, months before. At this point, I don't really care. You need to be learning because this English is, yes, it don't matter. I mean, it's okay. I'm not saying like if you don't find the language, then you screw. But I'm saying if you gon' bang and all of that, then you need to learn the language, and you shouldn't be learning Hebrew to speak it in a community type hi shalom and that. You should be doing it. You should be learning you should be learning the language as is in the scriptures. That's your pure tongue. That's your Zephaniah 3
Hmm.
in a new continent. You know what I mean? It's like Jeremiah 31:30 and Jeremiah 31:31 is not gonna happen, bro, unless we learn how to like actually understand what these words are saying. You can go to the lexicon and then boom, it tell you what it means. You don't
It's a
really
tool.
actually need it. But I'm
Hmm.
saying, if you like a person like me, I hate these people. I hate, I mean, never mind, never mind. I'm just saying I don't like the people Yahweh gave the sword to,
Right.
right? So I don't, so like when I'm reading their language, it's like whatever. But then at least if I can go to a word that they done said that's multiple words, but secluded in the language, I can now find out the total meanings, the meaning and meanings behind all of these words.
Absolutely.
So now my spirit can resonate with it. You know what I mean?
Trust me, I one of the ones that understand. Like I said, me, I don't speak it at all, but that doesn't mean that I don't know, you know, anything about it because I do. I use the tools, the tools of the trade. Somebody would say, well, how do you know what something's translated, direct? Well, the key thing for me is first of all, you give me the actual source manuscript, and you'll see from there. You know what I mean? That's just 2025. About to be 2026. You trying to tell me there's no, tools out there? 'Cause they are. You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
I mean, to be honest with you, bro. And the scripture said knowledge gonna increase. So I don't want to hear that shit. I don't feel like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Ain't no excuse for motherfuckers to be even trying to. A lot of people just want entertainment. That's it. They don't want to
Yep.
actually, you know what I'm saying, learn. They want to find us. They want to pick a side. They want to pick a side, but this, I don't know. Mm. It's
Well,
Babylon. How can you pick a side?
well, I knew, like I said, I knew basically from that last episode, you know, when somebody just randomly picking something and then basically leading out with his, his his way of, trying to, I guess, make a point with, but yet not getting to the point because, I don't know where you're going with this. You know what I'm saying? And if I don't know where you're going with this, I'm just basically going off of his energy, trying to define what are you looking for. You know what I'm saying? But he happened to pick out the interlinear, which I do not use because I know from experience that the interlinear is not really sourced from like the original source of the language itself, and it has different, I guess you would say, different narratives, different variations involved in it. So it's not gonna be a good, it's not gonna be a good like look. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about it. You're gonna have a little bit of Greek influences. It's gonna have, you know what I'm saying, like man's influences in it. You know what I mean? I was like, what was your point? What was your point? I think he was looking for the Song of Songs, and he's asking me to read in a certain way, according to what is on the, what he had on the brain. I'm reading exactly what it's saying. Like you saying that the words that is put in place is not the exact from the original Hebrew, and I'm saying, well, if it's not, then let's look at it from the original Hebrew. Oh, I don't. I mean, how can you say it don't matter when I'm saying give me the original so that we can go from there, not use some already tainted up thing and try to bang with that 'cause that didn't make no sense to me. You get what I'm saying? And I
Mhm.
said was not something that I would use anyway. And then like I guess he went off of that, and then slowly we went to the Strongs. The Strongs doesn't necessarily change anything because Strongs is connected with just only KJV. You know, that's not original, is it? It's not. We're gonna do something. Let's go with like a Hebrew dictionary or something like that, where it's gonna give the true meanings and stuff like that. That goes with because I wanted to use the Leningrad. You know what I mean? Well, that was my original plan, but when I put that up, guess what? He wanted to run from that literally because that was not something that I guess he could actually read. I'm not saying any names, but I'm sure you are aware of what was going on. But that's just how it went. But that's like with everybody in the whole community. They're playing this whole, you know, language thing, trying to, I guess, gain points as if, they're out there speaking fluently, let's spreading this out like everybody's speaking the same language. And then, that's not true. You know what I mean? That's what
Mhm.
my problem. That's what my problem was. You know,
Mhm.
but like when it comes down to the context, you know what I mean? I arrive at the context like various ways, not just from English dictionaries. I use Hebrew dictionaries. I use Greek dictionaries. I use all of that. You know what I mean? I use Dead Sea Scrolls. I use all different type of variants, and then I make a decision that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just feel like, I mean, the simplicity of it really is, you know what I mean, your heart, your mind.
Exactly. Hmm.
You know what I mean? A lot of people get this concept in their head that because they're Israelite, they gotta do some stuff that they can't do. I mean, it's the same thing in the scriptures. You know what I mean? When Yahweh told our people, go fight, they don't go fight. And then he say, okay, well, and then all of a sudden now they want to go do it. No, you can't do that. It's over with. You can't, you know what I mean? I ain't saying you can't learn the language because that's a lie. I would just say stop being partial and try to give both the insight.
Hmm. Well, especially when it comes to, basically you said it and hit it on the nose last week. It's basically supposed to be a holy tongue. That's what it's supposed to be. And like I said, I looked at it from the perspective of the two words. Now, to me, like how I guess you say the vocalization of it, that's something different. You know what I mean? Even the spelling didn't really match the vocalization of it from both perspectives, but I got it. To me, they both was at the same point, same level. Nobody can tell me any different than that. And you actually showed me when I was looking at the sources that you were using, literally. You know what I mean? So I'm at this point with that. Like, we got to do better. Got to do better, because otherwise, you know what's going to happen. The innocent's going to be the ones that's going to be like turned away from it. And it's just going to be all about fighting over something that has no. I mean, it has validity, but it didn't have that validity that it warrants to be worrying about that at the point. You know what I mean? It gave the wrong message. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Everybody would have to say, you know what, in order to literally uh, get the actual true meanings of some of the Hebrew words, you would have to obviously go into the Hebrew. If anybody said they don't go into the Hebrew, then they would be a liar. Nobody would be relying on just their language that they know. You have to learn what the same equivalent meaning of the language. You know what I mean?
Hey, no, you can't say that though, because there's some people that don't do the Hebrew at all. That with the Bo Williams, he he
Oh
said
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
said English
you
is
think you think English is the actual, you know what I mean? Like that, something like that. That's foolishness
bugged out.
because he doesn't accept the fact that there's a origin of where English came from. You know what I'm saying? I guess he refuses to look at that. He thinks that everything is tainted, you know, and he only goes that one way. So nah. When it comes to the him, I kind of like I don't even know what to say with him. That's
Everything a conspiracy.
yeah, he's handicapping too much. It's basically self-inflicting himself. That what he's talking about ain't not going to work. Yes, I know that there's a lot of things that are influenced by those people, and the things are influenced by the oppression. I know this, but at the same time, you got to remember if you don't go and further yourself in it, pretty soon you're gonna think that what you don't agree with is
Mhm.
against you. You know, you know. Uh, Put it like this. Like I said, I was only gonna keep it short and sweet, but at the same time, I had a little technical stuff going on, so I'm gonna definitely do a part two on this, maybe tomorrow, and then we're gonna go even deeper. You know what I mean?
Hey, look. So I want to read Jeremiah 31 to 31.
Hmm.
It says, "The day is coming, says Yahweh, when I will make a new covenant with the people of Yasharal and Yahweh. This covenant will not be like the one I made with their ancestors when I took them by the hand and brought them out of the land of Egypt. They broke that covenant, though I love them as a husband loves his wife, says Yahweh. But this is the new covenant I will make with the people of Yasharal in that day, says Yahweh. I will put my instructions deep within them, and I will write them on their hearts." Did it say did it say in a language?
Didn't say in the language.
Did it say I will put my instructions deep within them, and I will write Lashon HaKodesh?
Didn't say that.
What about Lashon HaKodash?
It didn't say that.
What about English?
It didn't
Asian,
say that. It didn't say that.
Spanish.
It didn't
Yeah,
say that.
come on, bro. Y'all gotta
Hmm.
stop this, bro. It
Absolutely.
says, "I will be their al or their
Mhm.
alawa or their alahayim," right?
I
And they
already know
will
where you're
be
going.
my people. They will be my people, right? And it says, and they will not need to teach their neighbors, nor would they need to teach their relatives. I mean, hold on, wait. That cut your JC out the whole picture. So to you people that's claiming that the the BHI language got something to do with Bahashem, ba 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 ba. No, it don't. Okay, it say, and they would not need to teach their neighbors. We still learning right now.
Absolutely.
Nor will they need to teach their relatives, bruh. Okay, it say you should know Yahweh,
Hmm.
for everyone from the least to the greatest will know me already,
Say that
says Yah.
again, from the least to the greatest, right?
From the least to the greatest will know me already, says Yah, for I will forgive their wickedness and will never remember their sins again. So all it don't so everything else that y'all talking about, we no, it would behoove you to, but if you just don't have the ability, if you don't have the fortitude, if you don't have the
You need the
energy, if it's
need
not
the
you,
fortitude. Hmm.
then it's, hey, learn it within what you have and let it be in your heart, bro.
Yep.
That this language, that language, it don't matter what language you gonna have the most high somewhere, and you're gonna have some other idol somewhere trying to take. It is what it is, and in all of those sectors of the world, you're going to have to dissect what is real and what is fake. It don't matter what language you in, bro.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, smashing at her, you did a fantastic job. You know, I wanted you to actually lead the way. So I kind of like, partially I did have technical difficulty, but I like this. You've shown a lot of maturity. You showed a lot of, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So you know you're gonna have to do this some more, right?
Hey, not unto us, Yahweh, not unto us, but to you be the glory.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people might disagree, but that's only because you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? A lot of you people gonna disagree with this. You don't know shit about the language. You don't know nothing about it. You
Hmm.
can't come up with, you ain't got a source. Bro, I pull up a source, bro. I don't gotta know how to speak it. I pull up one source, bro, that'll shut your whole argument down.
And you showed it to me, and I accepted it. So I'm with it. You know, it's like I
So
said, I'm gonna leave this open, and hopefully, someone from the other side would actually come on and you know show me, you know, some of the same validation. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't talking about like because the way I see it, it's easy to mimic somebody else's. You know, I see it right here. It's easy to mimic somebody else's thing and not actually have authentic sources. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
mhm.
We're gonna see. And still, at the end, I'm not gonna say that either way. done and over with, that ends it all, because it doesn't end it all, because me knowing experience that there's going to be other people's perspectives too, with other besides just that. It just so happened to be that these two happen to be the things that's bumping heads. Why? I really don't know. But as long as that idol ain't in it, you know, that's the key thing. And if the idol's in it, then that's what throws me away from it, to be quite honest.
But no, brother, this language right here don't got the idol in
No, it don't. It really don't. But seems like they trend to figure out a way.
it.
You know how that goes. They try to figure out a way.
Motherfucker told me Matita Yahoo. Who the fuck? Now that don't even sound like a Hebraic name at all.
Nope. They're trying to mix in the Greek
Come on.
and then try to respin it back and turn it into Hebrew pie.
Come on. Hey, hey, true. Appreciate, bro. Appreciate it for letting me pop in, and appreciate it double time for allowing me to share it on my channel. You know what I mean? I hope. Hey, look, y'all already know what it is on Smash and Idol. Y'all already know. Don't even try to. Don't even try it. You got smoke. Woo! You know what I mean? Hey, but y'all was already dead on arrival before I was even able to smash the idol. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Hmm. Well, but like this, I'm just gonna say my piece now. You can take it out. Well, we're gonna finish this again later on, part two.
I Y'all know what it is, man. Once again, man, Yahweh Cod, Yah Cod. You know, everything else is just I don't know what to tell y'all. You know what I mean? You can say whatever language you want to, but make sure when you saying it, you put some respect on the Most High name, and by you doing that, you doing it by following His Torah. For real. Don't be. Hold on. Nah, 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 nah. Never mind. I ain't even go. Look, just don't be trying to narrate it, and you know what I'm saying, and try to, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you know how motherfuckers try to be sneaky with the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? They know
Hmm.
that they wrong, but they
Hmm.
still, but they know that they dealing with an amateur, so they, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
I don't know, man. I seen some shit. I seen a debate where a motherfucker was like, motherfucker pulled out. I ain't even gonna say the scripture because niggas already, people are already gonna know what's up. You know what I mean? But no, fuck that. You know what I mean? And then we gonna close it out. I seen, I seen some debaters, and they was debating on a topic, and then it brought out Isaiah 55 and Isaiah 56, and then when dude got to 56, first he was 55, and the amateur dude, I mean, shout out, I mean, you know what I'm saying? He got a, I don't know. Sometimes he got a good heart, sometimes he partial, I don't know. But, he was like, kind of pulling it out like, yeah, Isaiah 55, that's not only the eunuchs, but them Israelites or something. I'm like, bro, he gonna catch you up. So now he basically was thinking like Isaiah 55 is some Israelites that are eunuchs and
He
some,
literally was out of context. Remember, I said context is key. He was out of context, and
right,
when
totally
it,
out of context.
hmm
And then 56, Isaiah 56, he like, yeah, they in exile. I'm like, no, they are literally, they would be in the land in chapter 56. What are you talking about? But, you know, Don't let people finagle you and finesse you, bro. You gotta read. Don't let people just take you to one verse. Where you challenge them to read the whole chapter. They really want to bring you back into correct. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you wrong and all that, they'll read. They'll be patient to read the whole chapter, read the 2 chapters, 3 chapters, whatever it is, for you to get the context. You don't need. You don't need. And Barashad, Radashid, the Carter. You don't need all of that, bro.
So they were basically playing scripture Jeopardy, jumping around. That's what they were doing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You don't need nobody teach you a language. You need to learn comprehension before you. Matter of fact, scratch the whole everything until you learn comprehension.
Absolutely.
Don't even worry about shalom, shalom, Baruch. Don't worry about none of that until you can read the context and understand in English and it's got in this damn god awful spellbound spell of a language. You got to get over Babylon before you can get to Jerusalem.
Absolutely.
I'm done running my mouth. I apologize.
No. Smash an idol. But yep. Let's just say, peace out. Close it out.
Hey, smash an idol. Shalom. DOA.
DOA.
DOA is in the house. I said DOA hit squad, yeah, that's the channel name. From the digital dome, we ain't playing no game. We got a crew of knowledge sharp, ready to attack. Laying down the foundation, ain't no turning back. First up on the track, the mastermind on the mix. He's cooking up the facts, no room for dirty tricks. It's the DOA hit squad, y'all only origin. We bring in the fire, watch the history begin. From the scrolls to the stars, the wisdom we share. Science, history, Torah, put your hands in the air. We break down the lies, expose the fraud and the fable. Truth on the table, DOA is forever stable. Yeah, give it up for Eric, the mad scientist. Yeah, that's his title. Dropping formulas, making knowledge vital. He's in the lab with the facts, dissecting the fiction, proving the theorem with accurate depiction. Then you got the wisdom of Yeshua and Yisrael, unpacking the ancient text, no need for the shallow. Word is bond, understanding is the only mission. Breaking down the scriptures with pure recognition. Hold up, pay attention, listen close to the flow. The foundational truth, that's what we aim to show. We got smash idol and Baker Torah, standing firm and tall. It's Torah only, your only answer in the righteous call. We dig deep in the archives, we study every source, confirming the record, setting the proper course. It's the DOA hit squad, y'all only origin. We bring in the fire, watch the history begin. From the scrolls to the stars, the wisdom we share. Science, history, Torah, put your hands in the air. We break down the lies, expose the fraud and the fable. Truth on the table, DOA is forever stable. Yeah, you ready for the knowledge? You ready for the heat? Subscribe, hit the bell, can't be beat. It's the DOA hit squad. Hit squad. Hey, hey. DOA hit squad. Hey, DOA hit squad. DOA hit squad. Hey, stay tuned. Peace. How's you?